The Green Bay Packers just got great news on multiple fronts. I'm going to break that down for you guys in this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to do so. Let's jump into it. Okay, so as you would have anticipated, the Packers have moved up in the power rankings. Now, that's good news. That's not the great news that I am talking about because power rankings, they are what they are. It's just one person's opinion or multiple sources' opinions as to how good your team truly is. If you want a true measurement to how good your team is, take a look at where they fall within their division. And at the end of the season, what is their playoff seeding? That is a true measurement of your team's power ranking, in my opinion. But be that as it may, the Packers, as it stands, depending on what source you are looking at, the Packers are about a 5 or a 6 in the power rankings. So coming into this season, we all knew and anticipated that this offense is scary and can be scary under Matt LaFleur's play calling ability and Jordan Love under center. Now, we were without Jordan Love, and the Packers proved that they can win even without Jordan Love, which is dangerous. That's a scary thing if you're an opponent against the Packers. It's like you're looking at this team and saying, okay, this team knows how to win without their star quarterback, one of the best up and coming quarterbacks. He and CJ Stroud, in my opinion, are the two best up and coming quarterbacks in the National Football League. But they knew how to win without Jordan Love. But then you take a look at last week's performance, and they were -3 in the takeaway category, and yet they still came away with a win. That's dangerous. That is great news for the Green Bay Packers. Nobody quite knew what to anticipate with the Packers defense coming into this season under Jeff Hafley. Okay, so here we've got this coach from Boston College who had some NFL experience coming and needing to just take over a quote unquote mess that was in Green Bay defensively under Joe Barry. Now we had the talent in Green Bay. It's just a matter of, okay, how is that going to translate? Jeff Hafley's coaching system and schemes, how is it going to translate with the talent that we have drafted over the last few years? Well, it's looking to be quite good so far. Okay, so it hasn't been perfect, but you can't expect perfection, period. But you can't expect for perfection with a new DC coming into a new situation. But they've improved, and they've showed they've improved over time. Okay, so you take a look at the first game against Philadelphia, total yards, and this is the key stat that I want to kind of hone in on this video is total yards. We allowed 410 total yards in this game, and you talk about sacks allowed. We got 2 sacks in that game, and I love looking at third down efficiency because if you're converting on third downs, you're typically going to win games. In this game, we held Philadelphia pretty much at bay. They only completed 4 of 14 on third down conversions, which is pretty solid. I think Jeff Hafley had a good showing his first debut. Of course, it was an international game, which made things difficult. But then the Packers, they're without Jordan Love. Okay, so then it's like, okay, all hands on deck. Defense, we need you to step up. Josh Jacobs, we need you to step up. That's exactly what they did. They improved greatly on the total yards allowed in that game, 338 total yards allowed, and then 2 conversions on 9 attempts on third down efficiency for the Packers defense. And they came away with, of course, we're talking 3 turnovers the first game, 3 turnovers this game. And then if you take a look at sacks, the Packers got 1 sack in that game. So not a ton of pressure on Richardson, but they kept him at bay, an athletic quarterback that can move. Then you fast forward to the Tennessee game. We only allowed 237 total yards. Again, Packers, you can just see they keep improving on that front. Third down efficiency, 3 of 9 for Tennessee in that game. Sacks allowed. The Packers got 8 sacks in that game, which was just, they were piling up. They looked super good. Jeff Hafley sending some pressure. And then you fast forward to, of course, 3 turnovers, again, 3 takeaways. Minnesota. Okay, so Minnesota, we allowed a little bit more yards in that game, which was to be anticipated. That's a very potent, very good offense. 374 yards of total offense for Minnesota. Third down efficiency, 4 of 11. Sacks allowed, 2. We got 2 sacks in that game. Let's fast forward to the Rams. We won that contest. Third down efficiency, 8 of 16. Now, they were very efficient on third downs, which was super frustrating in that game. If you remember, sacks allowed, we got 3 sacks. Again, we got 2 takeaways in that contest. So you look ahead to then the Cardinals. We get 3 forced fumbles in that contest. we kept Murray at bay. Again, another athletic quarterback that we've faced, and we've kept those athletic quarterbacks at bay. Only 303 yards of total offense for Arizona, which is again improving. Third down efficiency 40% for them, and then sacks allowed. We didn't get any. Neither did they. Nobody got sacks in that game. And then you take a look at the Houston game, and this Houston game. What a game that was, by the way. Just it was such a good game. But here's the key stat. Here's a huge stat out there for us Packer fans to get excited about. This is great news on multiple fronts, is that our defense is coming together. Our defense is starting to play like a championship type caliber, because even when our offense isn't firing on all cylinders, we get two turnovers on offense, then one on special teams. But 197 total yards of offense. Again, Stroud kept at bay, under 90 yards passing in this game, which is just absolutely ridiculous and unheard of. This is probably going to be one of the best defensive games for the Packers all season. Hopefully not. I mean, maybe the Packers can continue on this thread. And that's what we're trying to see this talk about, is that this trend of the Packers efficiency on defense is just, it seems like it's building steam and momentum. Third down efficiency, 4 of 13. We got 4 sacks in this game. We put the pressure, but more than that, we put the pressure on him. Rashawn Gary was finally able to get through. So where do we stack up defensively? Of course, you look at the takeaway category. Of course, we've talked about it all season long, but this is a category that Hafley wanted to lead in, and that's exactly what we are doing. Even though we didn't come up with any takeaways this last game, we still are leading the NFL with 17 takeaways, which is a huge category to lead in. And then you take a look at defensively on yards allowed per game. The Packers, as it stands right now in this category, they rank 15, which, okay, that's a middle of the road, but that's much improved from last season. What about passing yards allowed per game? Well, the Packers are at 15 on that list as well. And on rushing yards allowed per game, the Packers rank 13, which is improved, much improved from what we've seen even at the beginning of the season for this defense, which means that Jeff Hafley is just saying, hey, listen, we can build off of. Now, we've gone against some very good running backs. You've got Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, some of the best in the game we've gone against. And the Packers are just getting better as the season goes on. And then points allowed. That's a huge category right there. The Packers are 10th in the league defensively. They're in that category. What about sacks? Okay, because you want to put pressure on a quarterback. The Packers are 10th in that category as well, averaging 2.9 a game. But man, you talk about great news for us Packer fans, is this Packer team is showing that not only can they win without their starting quarterback, not only can they win when they are losing the turnover takeaway category, they can also win with their defense. That's dangerous. And we're not even firing on all cylinders yet, which cannot wait for this. I don't want to look past this Jacksonville game coming up, because that's an important game for the Packers. That's something you don't want to look past. But I cannot wait for that Detroit game, November 3rd in Lambeau. What a game that is going to be. Super excited about it. Leave your comments, and as always, go Pack, go.